Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Milan.
This Walsh.
What up, what up, what up? How you doing?
Hey. Great.
Pileup.
How are you?
10.0.
Yeah, more games, midweek games, I don't know, whatever.
Friday off, right back at it Saturday, pot again Sunday, right back at it Tuesday. It's just, here we go.
Yeah, I don't like the midweek games because I can't really watch them that much.
Yeah, it fucks.
Like, it really fucks my shit up.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine in the UK. They're night games, but for us, it's not fine.
Yeah, it's not fine. How'd you do this week?
I did well, actually. There's not really possible worse start than the first game of the week. I captain a 1-pointer. I captain Bamford, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm fucking doomed. Not to mention the soup check haul in the other game that was going on. So it was all doom and gloom. But then
you had Kufal and Bamford captaining the first game.
2 1-pointers, and I captained one of them. Again, Soup with the fucking whatever he did, 13-pointer or whatever. A lot of people have him, so it was a disaster, needless to say. And then everything.
That's your special though. You vacate the premises after the first day, and then you end up having more points than me while I'm trying to cheer you up and be like, "It's okay, Lon, come hang out."
Well, it all came down to Bruno. It all came down to Bruno. I mean, official FPL Twitter said that he was the most capped person ever. Period. In one game week, more than
dumb. Everyone knows nothing. He was diabolical.
Yeah, he is dog shit. So once he blanked, I was in the running. I mean, I had the Cancelo 17-pointer, Diaz clean, Jack 8-pointer, Saka 13-pointer, who's just been so incredibly good for me.
Yeah, MVP for you this year.
Oh my god, him and Diaz.
That was one of our preseason shouts. It just took a little extra.
Yeah.
Except we did also similarly shout Foden and Greenwood. Neither of those.
Well, Foden, who's leading Man City in goals, that Foden.
Well, whatever, but he's still not like a good pick. He still hasn't emerged to be a good pick. Anyway.
I was anti-Greenwood though. For the record.
Yeah, you were.
And
I was more pro Greenwood, and I have since turned very against him.
You're now after watching every United game every week.
Watching them closer is like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, but so I finished on 55. I saved. I went up 200k, 2 frees. Still have Vardy. Kane's hurt now, so that makes my moves more complicated, but we'll figure it out. So yeah, good week. Okay. What about you?
I somehow got a green arrow, even though the only points I got on my whole team was my Man City clean for my 3 defenders. Literally all other 8 players blanked.
Yeah, I'm looking at your team.
I got 46 points. I'm fucking bad. I'm so dumb. I just
what do you mean?
Dumb bad shit. I can't, dude. I've been like, I just chase my tail around every week. It's like I don't even know what I'm doing. I fucking have Werner and shit. I'm so dumb. Yeah, but it's just, oh my god, dude. Every game is just anguish.
I didn't expect this from you.
Yeah, it's tough.
Well, because last week you put up 106, and then you got another green this week.
But the thing is, I made one good call in the last 3 months, basically, by getting the 3 City defenders in my team. The rest of my team is fair. Off fucking full, absolute. Right. They've been getting at least 50% of my team's points. Those 3 players every week for the last month. Yeah, all my other players are fucking blank every week. It sucks.
Were you've had Sun Forever and Triple City D, and basically
and Sun Forever is also hasn't been good the last 2 months. He's had one game where he got points. It's So I don't know. It's just that's the thing is City clean. I'm like, okay, whoa. But then every other game I watch with all of my other players is holy shit, everyone sucks. Right. That's been the thing that's been tough.
I mean, yeah. So
we'll
at
see.
least you have that base, At least you have the base.
I'm taking hits this. I also save, so I'm going to take some hits. We're going to have some more fun. Mm-hmm. We're coming around here.
What do you think about Werner? Still hold?
Easy hold.
Just unreal. Straight up 0 minutes. Go fuck
straight
yourself.
Straight up 0 minutes.
Yeah, Thomas. Tommy Tooks.
I speak, actual go to fuckland disaster. Absolute disaster. One of the worst calls I've made in years, I think. Years.
Yeah, someone asked about that, actually. He said...
in the actual years, I think.
Where is it?
In my own team. I mean, I make bad calls as every pod.
I'm looking for the question.
In my actual team.
Cam Anderson says, where does Walsh's Timo shot before back-to-back benchings rank in all-time shouts? Presumably just behind Walsh bringing in red flag Jesus and sparking his first wild card.
Well, that was just a masterstroke because it gave me the kick in the ass I needed to wild card. So that was just like my third, fourth brain playing
third eye, fourth brain, third ball.
Yeah, I was like, I really want a wild card, so I'm going to bring in someone who's going to be out for months to really force my hand in a week.
So good.
That was actually a good call.
So good.
Yeah, Werner, no. I mean, straight up, one of my worst ever moves, I think, in my life, in my career. But
here we are.
I'm dumb. So here I am.
Shout out.
Listen to our pod.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to the top 3 FML Field Prize League Mug League leaders for January. 1 game week remaining. Colin Capone, a.k.a. Hal Capone. Alec Newton, a.k.a. Finding Timo, and Kyle Mans, a.k.a. Back to the Drawing Board. And then shout out to the leader of the changed name FMLVL Public League, Felix Hansen, a.k.a. Hase Bieko. Definitely nailed that pronunciation for sure. Yep. Oh my god, we got so many questions, dude. So I think in the biz, we call this question pod, I think.
Okay.
So I think that's where we're going to go. I mean, so we could just start with Chelsea and Timo and Tuchel and just get that out of the way. I mean,
sure.
Happy said early
he
thoughts
wasn't there when we potted last, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's funny because I mentioned him. I was like, until they sign Tuchel, it's going to be bad. But Happy said early thoughts on Tuchel's Chelsea. Who's going to emerge out of this Chelsea squad? I mean, did you see anything? Do you feel anything with Tuchel?
Well, I didn't watch that game. For one thing, so full disclosure there.
You should never watch Wolves games.
Yeah, I mean, I understand not a lot happened, and Wolves went back to type with the 5 at the back or whatever. But no, I mean, it's very much going to be a wait and see progress, kind of wait and see the progress. Like the only reason why I held Timo is like, okay, well maybe he starts, and if he like scores a goal and starts and plays well, then I'll keep him.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that was in the back of my mind.
Absolutely.
It was like, this
I think
is the
totally
reason.
Reasonable.
Instead, he played 0 minutes, so that's up by me. But you know, he's going to take. It's going to take him at least 5-6 games to sort who's what and where and whatever the hell. But the thing with Tuchel that I do like is that he's not a fucking idiot like the last manager Chelsea had, and he's just like a very tactically astute manager, and he's proven to be in throughout his career to get the most out of his squad and like actually improve players, I think. So I'm excited to see who he does settle on, and I mean, looking back at the formations he's played with his previous clubs, I think is just a folly. I don't think you're going to be able to glean anything from that because he's had very different set of challenges and very different teams when he's gone from Mainz, to France and, and Dortmund, stuff like that. So every single place was very different. But the thing that I think is in common with them all is that he's put his team in the best position to win 3 points consistently. Like that's kind of what he's going to do. And it seems like with each team, he also like does figure out like, this is what we're going to be doing this year. And then he does that thing. Mm-hmm. So, with Paris, like he was going the 3-3-3, 4-3-3 with the 3 midfields, that kind of steely stuff. He's like, this is the thing. We have Mbappe and they'll do the things up top or whatever. So is that what he's going to land on here? I have no fucking idea, but you could be probably pretty sure, after 4 or 5 games, if there starts to be a little bit of cohesion with tactics and personnel that, that's once he settles on the thing, it's probably like, okay, now we can really dig in and see, is there an FPL asset here? It's kind of what I'm like.
I basically have nothing to add to that. I think you nailed it. I mean, it's just, it takes time, and he's been there for 1-2 days or whatever, and there's a fucking pile up. Like, he has no time to do anything. So all he's doing now, I think, is just evaluating players and figuring out what will be the system that maximizes the talent. For now, whatever. I mean, Kai looks pretty good. He said he liked Mount in the press conference. Like, whatever. We'll figure it out who he settles on, but yeah, for now, it's
Mount didn't come back from Franklin's wake, I guess.
How dare you stand where he stood?
It's so good.
It's just funny with.
Did you just say Kai looked good?
Yeah, Kai actual. He was not the Kai Havertz of Chelsea. He looked like a reborn young German superstar, but we'll see.
Okay.
We got a lot of questions about forwards. Nick said, "Do you guys?"
Sorry, one thing though with that. I mean, Kai could be the dark horse here. Because, I mean, he dropped him right back in a 90 and played him at a position where one of the positions he's actually good at.
The thing with Chelsea is their squad, especially forwards, is so stacked sick. That there's like 6 dark horses. So that's the problem.
That's true.
That we don't know. It could be Werner, Tammy, Ollie, could be Pulisic, Cho, Kai, Ziyech, so Mount even. So, like, we just don't really know yet. But, yeah, I mean, I think he'll immediately put Kai in his favored position. Which
he did already.
Yeah, and he'll probably play Timo up top, like drifting wide, like he did with Aubameyang, like he did with Mbappe, who are similar players in a lot of ways. So, there's a lot of, like, exciting things to look for, but I'm not buying now, obviously.
Okay. All right. So sorry, you're going to forwards or whatever next?
Yeah, there's just a bunch of forward questions. Nick said, do you guys like Antonio over the next few? How does he compare to Bamford or Watkins? Ritzy, is it time to get rid of Bamford? Looks like Leeds are heading towards their end of season tail off, so we should talk about Leeds in general.
Literally halfway through the season. But yeah.
Cardi said, is it just me or is Watkins still just as bad an option as he was a few weeks ago? And then Jeff D, another Watkins, which said, Ollie Watkins, donkey who will continue to return below his XG, or getting in those positions is the repeatable skill, and he's a young kid who's primed to start returning at or above his XG. A lot of action on Ollie Watkins. You know anything about Ollie Watkins?
He's in my team.
Wait, what?
He's in my team now.
Spoiler alert.
Know that.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins is now Team Walsh.
Yeah, I mean, he's honestly... Well, I mean, are we going to just talk about... I mean, the question was broad, though. It was about a lot of forwards. I will talk about him, but I want to talk about Bamford first, I think.
Okay, let's start with Bamford. What's going on there?
Because, you asked me, I think, last week, you were like, well, what would it take for you to think of him as a problem? And I don't even know what the fuck I said.
I think you said another disaster against a bad team, and guess what? He put up another disaster against a bad team, yeah. So, I mean... It's worrying.
It's very concerning because... we all had our concerns about the player before the season started.
Right.
And the thing over the last few games is, like, he's still getting those half chances. He's, like, literally whiffing. Like, he's been whiffing. He's missing the ball. Like,
he
on
had
headers,
one shot, but he should have had, like, 4 shots. He just missed. They're also, like, crosses that got cut out a lot, I feel like, happens, where it's like, oh, if that reached him, he scores, but it doesn't reach him.
Yeah, I mean, it's... With Rodrigo, though, he was dropping a lot deeper than Newcastle. Whatever, this game was just such a mess. He was a mess. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concern because Leeds haven't looked really good. Again, it's just every game that we watch is like, what are they up to kind of a thing. And they're still creating some chances, but it's not like, oh, Bamford's the focal point. Like, he's very much like sometimes, like, he got the hockey assist on the first goal, but he's the hold-up guy or like whatever, and it just sprays it around a lot. And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he's just not very. He just doesn't look very good, and neither do Leeds. I mean, frankly, I mean, they don't look good either. So I think that he's definitely like a sell candidate.
Leeds in general, their underlying numbers have just fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, they've just changed. It's just they're not creating and they're not pressurizing the same way that they were in the first 3 months.
Not.
Really,
So maybe they are running out of legs. Maybe the pressing,
it's possible.
Like, every other team can't press, and Bielsa's just like, YOLO, we're still pressing. Like, I don't give a fuck. And maybe they're running out of gas. I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah, I mean, they had the 5-0 against West Brom, then they got demolished by Spurs, demolished by Brighton. And, Newcastle's at best an even game. Newcastle probably had the better chances.
One of the worst teams in the league.
They're bottom 3 teams. So it's very concerning. And
okay.
I'm
that with him.
Comfortable getting rid of him. Like, I
am going to be getting rid of him. But
I probably am too. The fixtures are very, very bad. Really, only Palace is the only good fixture for the next 7 or 8 games. I
think the only other thing with him is, I mean, we're obviously shitting all over his face right now, but people have owned him for a long time. He started at 5.5. Like, he's still cheap, and there suddenly are just like no good players in the game. Yeah. So you can just like bench him. You could still just hide him. Because, we're still going to, it's still a pile up, blah, 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 blah. You're never going to be, you're going to bench points sometimes, but it's a good problem to have. Like if you have other issues elsewhere, because he's still going to start every game. He's still going to get points periodically, but he just doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I actually love that shout because the meta, as we've spoken about the last few pods, is like big at the back, etc. Premiums are kind of underperforming. There's not that many premiums. You can afford to hold that guy on your bench. Like most teams that I've seen, you can easily afford that. Like with the meta of like Triple City, whether it's Gundo or Stones, they're both cheap, and another big defender and stuff like that. Yeah, so I like that shot. Yeah. So what about Ollie? I mean, you've been anti-Ollie.
Well, Antonio definitely stands out above and beyond. I mean, he could have scored fucking 20 FPL points. He could have had a hat trick against us. I don't know what was happening. We were all absolutely we're so bad. But they have West Ham, they have Liverpool right now, which is not, really when you want to buy. And then at Villa could be some goals, but then at Fulham, which is also going to be a bust, like Sheffield
United's a bust.
Looking at the fixtures with him is a little bit of a tough one because West Ham, I think, are a very difficult team to predict, like what the game script's going to look like game to game. They just kind of have been competitive in them all. But I mean, he's 6'4". He definitely, has the pedigree FPL wise of doing it when he's healthy with this Moyes setup. I mean, going back to last year, and he's fit again, and he just has a knack for just like getting fucking right spots.
It's another preseason shot also, which we've been saying all year, like should matter. We should think about this. And he was absolutely nailed into all of our teams before fixtures came out. 100% nailed, best 6'5" in the league, no question.
Yeah,
and then their fixtures came out, and we all convinced ourselves to get out, and he got hurt, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
well, he's back, he's fit, he's putting up huge numbers as he always does.
Yeah,
he's just really good. He's a really good pick. I think he's
a good pick there.
Yeah, until he gets hurt.
To me, is the clear. Pick. Which could be any time, but yeah. And then Watkins. Yeah, I mean, it's for me. It was. I mean, the number mattered. If I could afford the extra 0.3 with what else I wanted to do, or still have an eye to do, then I would have gotten Antonio without a question, shadow of a doubt.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar to like the Rashford. Like he's obviously has a huge donkey gene in him, but the team's good. They create a lot of chances, and he gets a lot of them. I mean, I don't think he's going to suddenly like be like reborn, and he's going to start slotting a lot of these in.
Yeah,
we watched him in the Burnley game. I mean, it was just the most prototypical game of his life. He scores on a tap-in that, honestly shouldn't have even gotten to him. Burnley had a couple of individual errors for that cross to get them, but then he's in fucking clean and he shoots it directly at Pope. Like that's what he does that's what he's been doing all year. And that was not an outlier. That's like consistent to type.
Right.
But it's just the volume. I mean, if he's getting 2 or 3 big chances, it seems like he gets at least a big chance a game watching the play.
Dude, I mean, and his non-penalty XG per 9 is 0.53. That's
elite. That's elite. But he's a fucking idiot, and he's not elite, so that's what's happening. But he also plays actual 90. He's a fucking machine.
Oh my god, yeah, his work rate is
monster.
Incredible.
He plays 90 minutes. He hasn't been sub once. He's literally has not been sub once. He's a striker. That's not common. So
for
you like
reference,
that.
I just pulled it up. The top 4 among guys who play legit minutes, the top 4 non-penalty XG per 90: DCL, Laka, Bamford, Watkins.
Yeah, so I mean that's quite the group of players.
Yeah, right. Like imagine that in preseason, telling me that's going to be the top 4 right there.
The other thing too with him that I like watch he is in the middle, but Villa, the team is just that's good. Also the thing is like they're definitely a better attacking team than West Ham, like not even close. And
they're a top 6 team in the league. They're really good.
They're definitely a top 6 team in the league.
They have
really no depth.
Good.
They get 2 injuries, and we'll revisit this. But right now they're fit and.
They got Sanson.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
added some depth.
Yeah, they did. I forgot. Yeah, that's a good signing. That's a good job by them. But I mean, Watkins is certainly going to go on these strings of 2-3 blanks in a row because it's Ollie Watkins, but he's a 6 million forward, so you don't have to really do too much to justify that. And watching the game, the eye test, there's going to be the game where he like accidentally goes the right way and gets a break, bangs a brace.
Already done it.
That's gonna happen. Yeah, he's done it once or twice.
He has a brace against Arsenal and a hat trick versus Liverpool. Like he's literally
but I think
done
it's
it.
been Yeah, and I mean he looked really good against. Eye test looks really good until he has to try and score, really. Which we talk about those types of players a lot, and the more I play FPL and the more I watch football, it's like I do like the repeatable chances more than just, the small sample size finishers, which, I mean, that is sort of, Antonio, I guess, I don't know why I'm using Antonio as a person here because he kind of has a little bit of both of them. But I guess like DCL would probably be coming to mind to me right now with not a big sample size over the last like 2 months where he's getting like a chance and it's like a half chance a game and they turtle and they don't attack a lot, that kind of thing.
When they're bad.
Where I'm like, I'd rather, even though he's so much better than Watkins at like actually scoring goals, I'd rather have the opportunity
the quantity,
there rather than the finisher. Yeah, the quantity rather than the quality.
Because the quantity also scales upwards.
Exactly.
Right? Like if you get a guy who gets 1, maybe 2 chances a game, in the easy fixtures, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go up from 1-2 to like 3-4 because they're probably a bad team or they're just limited in attack. Right. But on a top 6 team, if we mentally adjust our brains that Aston Villa is a legit top 6 team, which they definitely are, it scales up against fucking Leeds, against Palace, whatever. Like we've seen Watkins get like 10 shots in one game, like huge XG hat-trick potential. It goes up.
Yeah.
So that's huge too. Yep.
So that's that with that. Yeah.
That's the forward. That's the state of the forwards right now. I mean,
what about let's go over to Everton. Because DCL, everyone's in Discord's like fucking fapping big time to DCL like it's 1998. I don't know. What do you think about
this? Game week 1. Well, let me read the questions. I got over 2 questions. Right. Jeff D asked, can we talk about feelings on a Rich and DCL double up? TB12 is Rich an option now that James and Dean, I just call him James, Hammers and Dean are healthy? And then Turd Ferguson, what do you think about Dean? Played winger against Leicester, has Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham, 3 of the next 4. And then, so I've been thinking about getting DCL too, which is like a, I guess FPL lore thing of like form versus fixtures or whatever you want to call it, because Everton have been like not scoring very many goals and not had most of their guys fit for a while now. And then all of a sudden everyone's fit after a little break. And now they have 2 of the best fixtures, maybe the 2 best fixtures, honestly, in the league with Newcastle and Leeds. I guess West Brom should be in there, but I mean, I guess I'm kind of on the fixture side of that because we know who DCL is. That's part of it. I'm not going into some unknown like guy who I don't have data with and don't have trust with. I rate the player. I love the player. Carlo's a great manager. I rate Rich. I rate James. I rate Dean, etc. So I do think that like when easy bankable fixtures roll around, we're going to see the team excel, That's kind of where I'm at. I think that Leicester was a tough game. DCL looked pretty good to me, even though his stats were pretty low. I think he had like 1 or 2 shots, but it's like the same thing with the Watkins, like the scaling. Like Everton should completely dominate Newcastle, and then we know Leeds just are fucking the Norwich of last season in terms of chances conceded and whatnot. So I like it. I like DCL.
I think the main issue I have with what your points about them is, yes, I agree that they should dominate the game, like the Newcastle, for example, but when they dominate games, they go to 1-0 and then they cruise and they sit.
Yeah, so
that's kind of what they do. So I'm not sitting here like, oh yeah, they're going to keep pumping them and they're going to put 3 or something. Like I would be fucking baffled and stunned if they score 3 goals in a game at this point, the way they play.
Well, the thing with that is like, so that's like the
fitness of the players, sure.
Right. So it's like, are they doing that because of who they had available and that was the best option to win, or and I don't know. I don't know
either. I'm not willing to gamble on that.
Right.
Because I'm like at this stage, we're halfway through the season. Like, I'd rather go to the things that I feel more secure about rather than kind of roll the dice. Like, they're better than these 2 teams, so I hope they score points. Like, I'm a little bit. I don't know. That's kind of what I see. I'm not like too keen or eager. Like, I would much rather see it first. I just. Right. That's a pile
I just
up.
think
Carlo
it's a worthy
knows what
punt,
the end game is. Yeah, but I think if you think of it as a punt, then that's fair.
That's what I think. And I think it's a 2-week punt. Like these 2 games, maybe they score 2+ goals in each game, and DCL, gets 3 returns or something. And and that's really where I'm at on it. I'm not
Yeah, and that could happen. I like Dean, I think, like, more because
Dean's great. I love
he gets
Dean.
an assist every other fucking game, and he's cheaper, and he gets a clean. I mean, they have
Pickford.
They have Pickford, so that's an issue. But I think he's a more. I mean, Rich, I don't understand. It's an insane shout to me, but yeah, I think DCL. I think Dean. Yeah, I still like Dean a lot.
Rich Dean's to me is like almost the same kind of bun as DCL, just a little more extreme, because his numbers are a little worse and whatnot. But like again, we know the player.
But he's looked fucking horrible literally all year. So I think that's a big difference. I don't know if his head's turned or what's going on, but
not in the beginning of the year.
That was 4 months ago.
I know, but that's the last time everyone was fit. That's kind of where we're coming from.
Yeah, but he's been really bad the last like couple months. He's just looked. He's looked worse than he's looked bad, dude. Rich doesn't look the same to me this year at all.
Yeah, I am like, I value more the last like 3 seasons combined where he's just a really good winger, goal scoring winger than like, what he's done recently. He had 2 pretty good shots against Leicester. He was getting in there, like 2 shots in the 6-yard box basically, Like,
it seems like overkill to me.
I don't know. I don't like it
because I still look around. I'm like, well, what are the chances that you're spiking something in 2 and you could just get Antonio and not have to worry about you have to get outscored by 4 points when it's transfers waiting to happen?
Antonio as Liverpool, Bamford as away Leicester,
Yeah, but then you just get DCL and then whatever. But it's like, how many transfers do you have to spend on these 2-week punts? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think just a lot of people are in kind of a similar situation to you and to me with like Werner, Vardy, Kane, Bamford, and they actually are spending 2 transfers on forwards potentially.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a high risk, high reward play there.
Yeah,
to go on a gamble with the 2 fixtures coming up.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't love it. I don't usually like playing that way. So
yeah. I think I like it.
Like, I want to have the out of like at least like a medium to long term hold, which with DCL I could see that, but with Rich it's just not even remotely close. I'd want to get rid of him immediately after the Leeds game,
and I probably
would. Probably nothing. Yeah, I mean, and if that's how you can set, if your team's in a good place, in a good shape to do that, then okay. But
the thing is, I feel like most teams are in a good place to do that because most people, at least in our like Discord, me, you, Podboys, whatever, like we have like a settled defense, 2 or 3 City, a Liverpool guy, whatever. We have like, our premiums that we like, maybe Saka, maybe Soup, maybe Jack, etc. Like those guys aren't going anywhere. And then, it's like the forwards. Like I actually do have transfers to spare on the forward line. I feel like the rest of my team is okay.
All right. So yeah, I mean, if that's what you're looking at, then go for it, I guess. I don't know. Still don't like it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the premiums, a lot of questions on the premiums. D Silva, a lot of us are transferring expensive players like Mo or Kev or Timo out of our teams. How cognizant are you of having a strategy to easily
who's transferring Mo out?
I mean, some people probably are. 6 straight blanks.
Okay.
How cognizant are you of having a strategy to easily get back to these premium price guys should the needs arise? Slim Charles is selling Bruno completely insane. Worry Painter, how does the rise of good attacking cheap mid options, Saka, Gundo, Supchek affect how we spread the funds? They're good value but take up mid slots, and there's no good premium forwards. Now that Kane's injured, I guess there's just none. And then Chester, you tweeted Alon, Mo is in a much more creator role while Mane's flying into the box, banging shots. Should we make the switch? So, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are rightfully questioning Mo after 6 straight blanks. That's fair. No?
I mean, I don't think it is. I don't think it is fair.
6 is
he's
a
not
lot.
Injured. It's a lot. It's more than he's ever done before, but you talk about Rich, trusting the last 3 years. I mean, trusting the last 3 years, plus he also has fucking 13 goals on the season. Plus, I mean, he scored today. I mean, that was ruled out for whatever the hell. But, he's definitely playing a little bit different role, a little bit more wide.
That's the key
That's
to
a
me.
thing.
That's he's playing a different position.
But he's still, world-class player. He's going to have, I mean, there's nothing. If he's healthy, I don't consider it. Like, I don't even think about him in my team as a spot that I'm considering.
Interesting.
I just don't. I mean, I really never have.
I think I would if I felt better about any other premium. But the state of premiums is such that like I'm like whatever, I'll just hold.
I mean,
you know,
he has pens. I mean, he had like what he did all the things in the FA Cup game, fucking on the weekend or whatever. You know, I mean, he's still it's Mo Salah. Like, what are we talking about? Like, we're worried about his production.
I am.
He has fucking 17 returns in 20 game weeks. Like, he'll probably finish with 28 returns or 30 returns in 38 game weeks, and that's
possible,
good.
But you know, when you see him playing this role over and over again, just super deep for him, super wide, not in the box, not shooting.
But this is the same thing. Like, he had the goal. Like, they don't do the dire mauling of Bob with the fucking bullshit. Like, he puts up like 8 today, and we're not talking about this.
I think we still would be, because that would be
I don't think we would be.
He'd again still just be on 2 shots, really bad stats, not really in the box all game. He really wasn't in the box all game.
Yeah.
To me, it's a little concerning.
I'm just so far away from being concerned about.
Yeah.
Mo.
Again, to me, it's just the other premiums. That's the reason why it's like, what the fuck are we even talking about? But like, yeah,
I think it's the same thing. I mean, honestly, it's the same exact application with Bruno to me. It's like, yeah, okay, Paula and blah blah blah, but you know, he looked actually worst game I've maybe ever seen him play in the Manchester United shirt against Sheffield United from a FPL standpoint. But Fulham could have had a haul. Liverpool could have scored. Like, Burnley looked good. Like, he's still, to me, other than the Sheffield United game, the recent blanks, has looked in and around. You know, you tell him, okay, the XG, like you could, but watching the game, like, I feel like he's still active. But his numbers
are a lot better than most. Tons of shots still, tons of key passes still, even though they might be down from his like incredible standards that he started with. The numbers are still like very, very, very good. Whereas Mo, they're not. They're way under his normal standards. And
none of those things with Mo really like are going to cause me to be concerned, because it's just the player. I mean, and he still has the pen thing, and I mean, if like the FA Cup game was 2 games ago, I mean, it's the same thing. It's like the first choice team. I feel like Liverpool are kind of finding their feet a little bit. They, you know, obviously look good today in the win, and I just trust that he's going to get it right, and he's going to still come in with points. You know, that's
what do you
really
think about Mane?
Fine. I mean, he's just really expensive. We see this out of him. I mean, he's just the streakiest fucker. And I owned him for dogs years earlier. It was the worst move, another awful fucking move of mine.
He started really slow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just was getting fucking scraps and he was returning like a fucking 5 million defender basically for 3 months, but he could turn it on.
Lately he's been good. He's kind of like, when I think about Mane, I think like he's a form player and he could just like streak right now, like the way he looked today.
Sure.
Against Burnley, had really good numbers and stuff. Like, he could just do stuff over, you know, an 8-game stretch, and I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of like buying that right now. I kind of like, again, like the premiums. Everyone has money to spend and shit. You know, it's like a weird time in FPL. It's like, I like that punt. You know, like there's no bad fixture for Liverpool.
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah, I also, I agree with you. I think it's a fine punt, but I don't agree with doing like Mo to Mane.
Right.
I'd
much rather turn my like Kane, Kev, Vardy, etc. into Mane. That's what definitely. I want to do instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about all those cheap guys? I mean, that was Worry Painter's question. Sort of just. I mean, we should. There's so many good mid-price mids right now. Like, you don't. You don't have any of them, right? Like, are you looking at them? Like, are you looking at like a Saka, a Souček, you know?
No,
like,
I mean, I have Mo, Bruno, Rash, and Son, and I have Smith Rowe. I'm fine with that. I'm happy with them. I'm still gonna just stay the course with Rashford, even though he's been pretty bad since I bought him.
Yeah, what's your thinking there?
Well, I mean, the Sheffield United game is, to me, basically a throwaway. Like, they played fucking 5 really shit. They just played like a B team, and Ole just lost the game for them. But
yeah, I texted you. He somehow played their worst center back, worst left back, worst right winger, worst number 9, all in the same game.
And he'll do
worst
that,
CDM. You know, it's like,
he'll do that. I mean, that he has that in his locker, and he thought he could just do the thing, and they would still win, but. I mean, Rashford hasn't been doing himself any favors in the league. He's looked really bad the last few years. He looked really bad against Liverpool. Didn't play against Fulham. Looked bad against Sheffield United. But the FA Cup game, he fucking was so good. Like, and then he's like a different player right now. And It's just the same thing where I don't believe in the player, like in the finishing ability or whatever, but I just, with the team and the things, I just think that the volume and the things, the points are still going to come. I mean, he has 95 points. I mean, he's going to probably finish about, he has 12 returns and 20. He'll probably have about the same. Like, he'll probably stack 12 more returns on there. And it's just not a problem to me. And I just don't really have too much of a conviction about going somewhere else. And I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to keep him for the rest of the season or anything, but for right now, it's just, they have some medium to decent fixtures coming up. And
they have some really good fixtures coming up.
Yeah. I mean, and as if I even know what a fucking good, I thought Sheffield United at home was good for them. I don't even know, but with Rashford, it's just, I don't know what honestly, I don't know what the fuck with him. I just trust that he's always gotten points when he plays. And he's just going to keep doing. I don't know when they're going to come.
I think
I don't know when he's going to look good. I mean, he hasn't looked good for a while, but he's obviously a nailed starter in the team. The bigger thing, I mean, we could do a little Man United. I guess we don't talk about them too much, but the balance, I mean, Martial's a big problem, and Greenwood's a big problem. I mean, Martial needs to be bombed out of the team right now, and he needs to start playing Cavani more regularly, and Greenwood needs to be bombed. Greenwood shouldn't be remotely even asked fucking close to the 11. And,
Greenwood should be the last two games, to fucking Cheltenham, and they should have bought Sancho, and Cavani should be the first name in the team sheet as far as I'm concerned. Like,
Cavani
every single time he's on the pitch, it's like, oh my God, they have a number 9.
Yeah, they have someone who can threaten, make good runs down the middle. I mean,
and constantly making runs.
Tony, I mean, I'm sorry, it's past the point. Like with him, he needs to be like dropped for a very long time. And I've been saying this in Discord for a really long time, but I think the biggest miss in the team, they need to put Mata in. I think Mata needs to play in this fucking team. I don't give a fuck about Van de Beek. Everyone keeps talking about him. He's a fucking kid who hasn't played out of Netherlands. No one knows if he's good or not. Everyone seems to think he's the fucking best thing since sliced bread. He might just suck.
He was like the 6th option on Ajax.
Yeah. I mean, there's a fucking reason why the kid's played 200 minutes. He's a kid and he might just fucking not be ready yet. Like, I don't understand that. But Mata is a creator. He's good movement and he's good passing range, and he can play 65 minutes a game in the league still and be effective. And if they put him in there at the wing spot and they're playing with fucking Paul and shit, like,
or Paul on the wing was the thing that I was going to say, which also worked. And then it's Fred and McTominay double pivot
or whatever.
Great.
You could
that
throw
right
Matic
wing
in
spot
there instead of them.
Is like the absolute void of everything. They have they get no production from there.
I mean, and it's both because it's Tony's kills every attack also. It's just both him and Greenwood, they play together. They don't function. They did not function even 1%. They were just crossing
Greenwood
blindly. And they had Greenwood needs to stop.
So hard to watch.
And I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, there's obviously like a phasing out of Mata, but I like that type of skill set is what I see them. I'm like, well, someone needs to be able to feed Rash. Like Bruno's really good movement. Like if you have Paul being able to feed and you have Bruno dropping deep to be able to feed, and then you have Cavani up top, you have Rash running, and you have Mata being able to kind of
McTominay and Fred moving the ball forward to those guys.
Simple.
Makes sense.
Like that's so straightforward in my head. I'm like, just put these guys on, they'll fucking win all of these games against these shitty teams. But and then he doesn't do it. So that's a frustrating thing for me. But I'm gonna just still hold the course. With Rash,
I think holding is right. I think it's a good thing. I think you're doing a good thing.
United have been really frustrating though. The last, I think, 4 United games I've watched have been just, oh my God, rip my hair out.
Yeah, I mean, they've been sort of barely scraping the results, which is good thing to get the points. Obviously you'd rather get the points than not get the points, but people are completely floored when they drop points, and it's like, well, there's variance in football. All year. Yeah, you can't play pretty badly against Fulham and Burnley and barely scrape wins and then be stunned when they drop points. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's not. And the defense is just, I can't believe I won the spot.
Fonzebe is straight in.
Straight in.
I don't know what the hell.
Speaking
of defenders, RV said, who are your favorite non-City defenders for those of us on 2 City D and Gundo? Is it Dean, Cresswell, Chilwell, Liverpool, etc.? And then Gabe Nono said, who's the best defender to get right now? No, price doesn't matter. So I assume he means outside of City, because obviously the answer to that City.
I mean, it's still. I've been beating this drum for a while, but it's still Liverpool, right? I mean, it's just, what do I trust right now?
Even with the Matip injury.
I don't give a shit. He'll fucking whatever. Fabinho will come back next game.
It's going to be Hendo, not Phillips, or maybe
Spurs,
Hendo, Fabinho.
Spurs scored a goal in a worldie today. And
Spurs suck, though. I mean, let's be honest.
Every team sucks, dude. What teams are good? They all kind of suck. Yeah. Liverpool don't suck. Like, Liverpool are clear and away the 1B team in the year in the league. 1A City, 1B Liverpool. Like, they control the game. They don't need their fucking, like, I don't give a shit. Like, they have the best goalie in the fucking world. Enough. And they're gonna cruise control and win out games. And they showed
Trent
a lot today.
I think good today. He was fucking 10 out of 10.
Yeah, Trent looked like fit and doing the things and good delivery again, and they look like they're starting to get their swagger back a little bit. I mean, they obviously had the blip a few ago, but this is similar to what we talked about on the pod last week. They have not been letting goals in, even though we talk. I mean, also as illustrated, the center backs. I don't really think it matters that much because I don't think there are that many good teams in the league, and I think that's still like the safest place. The safest place to look is there. You know, that's really for me.
Yeah.
Do you not think so? Or, I mean, you are obviously way more.
I definitely like Gabe was saying, like, if money isn't an issue, et cetera, like, there's no question in my mind that they're the next after City. But the thing is, money is always an issue, and I'm still not sure if I want to spend $14.5 million on 2 Liverpool defenders. Where you know, I could do like a Villa guy, punt on DCL, or you know, I don't even know.
Why get that when you could punt?
Punting is just the way of life. You could get Vlad the Impaler, 1-pointer, fucking fuck. But yeah, I mean, that said,
Villa though, you're liking Villa defense. Still?
I mean, that game was so fluky and weird. Konsa's he's really good in the air. Also, like, he has actual goals in him. I mean, I still think the thing about them solid.
That concerns me is that when I look at Emmy and I see games like saves like 6, 7, 7, 4, 6, 5, like I'm like,
a lot of shots.
He's good, you know. He's good, but you know that's a large volume, and it only takes one. Yeah. You know, we're playing this game. It's 0 or you first or last, like 0 or it doesn't matter. Yeah. And I still watch them, and it's like their bend don't break, but
it does sort of seem like they're open. I feel like when they concede 1, they're going to concede 3.
Yeah, because they're like, okay,
that kind of happens with them. I don't know what the deal is.
They lose their heads a little bit.
Yeah, but I still feel like they're like a decent clean sheet team with good fixtures, you know, pretty good fixtures, not great, but so, you know, they're cheap, they're good. Anyone else you like? I don't know. I mean, Chilwell's
I still think Dean is good just because he's so attacking.
And like, he was playing legit winger.
Yeah, it wasn't even a wing back; it was actual winger.
No, it's just
he has avenue.
Yeah.
So he seems good. I mean, he's 6, which is pricey, but I think Wolves are also somewhere to look at again.
Sneaky.
You know, with Bowley back and the way that they played against Chelsea is again. I mean, it's like, okay, he's going back to doing the dumb bad,
the dullest,
just the dull bad
most
shit,
defensive shit. And Kilman straight back in. They keep it clean against Chelsea. Like, he's 4-0.
The fact that he keeps
so good all year. It's so annoying.
Ridiculous with that.
Just fucking start him.
Play him. He's obviously better than the other option. So I think that's somewhere to look, and also, you know, more budgetary. Fulham have been really tight. You know, they've been really tight. Yeah.
Although they got kind of fucking, I don't know what happened in that Brighton game. They conceded more against Brighton than they did against every top 16 that they played. I think basically.
it was probably a little bit of we need to not get one point in this game and try and get 3.
Yeah,
so maybe
that's
they were
probably true.
A little bit more open there. And
that's fair.
You know, they have some pretty decent fixtures coming up. You could do worse than a 4-5 defender there, and West Ham too. They've been doing pretty well clean sheet wise, and you know, they still. I mean, Dawson looks like that's his job to lose. He's cheap, and the other guys a few ticks above, and Leicester too.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Leicester options. There's a lot of options.
Actually, like, memes aside, like, he creates a lot. Like, his numbers are actually really good. Like, the attacking stuff, like, he's like up high in the box, like doing stuff. He could have scored a goal against Palace. He got the assist against West Brom, created 2 big chances. Like, he's
I mean, he has 4 assists, like on pace for 8, which is a lot for a fullback or so. And he's very much,
and he started game week 4.
Yeah, and he very much deserves that. Like, he could have 5 or 6 or 7. You know, that would be he's definitely He's definitely a good player.
Yeah, Antonio
I wish I did that.
Absolutely helps him.
Yeah. That was a big miss by me. Remember when I wildcarded and I was like looking at Fredericks and I was like, oh, well, Kufal, like he just played, like he started like once or twice. I was like, should I get Kufal or is that like too risky?
I probably negatively impacted you there because I really liked Fredericks.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. But
and he just bombed out. Like, he can't get a minute. I don't know. I found it weird, but
and Leicester too.
Oh yeah, Leicester. Yeah.
Although
we did say, like, I think it was last pod, we got the Leicester question. We were like, yeah, they're good when their good players are fit, and everyone's finally fit. And then fast forward to this pod, and Vardy got surgery, and Ndidi went off injured. So
yeah, that's fair. I mean,
that's sad.
We're not advocating like Madison or Barnes or anything, but
yeah.
The one thing with Leicester, obviously, I'm not speaking very objectively, but something historically that we've seen is when Vardy doesn't play, they don't function very well.
Yeah, I don't trust their attackers without Vardy, honestly.
Yeah, and they 1-1 Everton. I mean that's an okay result. But
yeah, they played
in general,
well.
It's a little bit suspicious there, I think.
They played well, but the goal that they actually scored was just ex Pickford. It was just fucking joke. So
yeah, so they should have lost 1-0, I guess, on it.
Yeah,
balance.
Probably. Okay. Other than that, we got random Discord questions. Anything else you want to talk about first?
Well, aren't we just don't know?
Well, can we just talk about Arsenal for a sec? We didn't actually get, simple mugs. Can we get some Arscast talk? Have either of you considered bringing in any of their more expensive players like Laka? Obviously, I already have Saka. I'm a little bit worried.
Smith-Rowe.
And you have Smith-Rowe, yep.
We're in the Ars camp.
I'm a little bit worried about the upcoming fixtures from like a start these guys every week perspective. Like their upcoming attacking fixtures, aside from obviously Leeds, best fixture in the league, is like they're really bad for a long time. Where are you at on Arsenal? Like, are you thinking about doubling down? Laka? Like, Laka's been incredible for
I
owned
Laka a mere 3 games ago, and it was not fun. No,
I don't. I free-hitted him, obviously. But,
the Newcastle game. No, I don't think it's a good place to invest. I still feel like it's very like schizophrenic, like game to game. I still don't know what their identity is, and I don't really know what they're up to, really, each game. They could sometimes when they play and they just shut up camp and they don't want to play, then they go for the 1-0, and I'm like, all right, whatever, I guess he's doing that thing. And then, other games it's more open and they're more free-flowing and attacking. Mm-hmm. I don't really have a read on them at all. Yeah. And the players also have been very, very, very in and out. Like, the selection has been, since game week 1, I mean, it's been fucking insane how many players have played for them. I don't have any trust or faith there. But that said, with Saka, someone like you bought in at 5, he has the best of both worlds to me, because when they're shutting up shop and they're countering, then he's like the danger man. And when they're free flowing, then he's also he's fucking good.
He's just incredible.
So I think he's like the one player who's removed from all of this. I mean, Laka has his little donkey bits and stuff, but
he's been really good, better. Man. He's been really
looked better. But I mean, he didn't look good against us a couple games ago, and he didn't play well against Newcastle.
The one time I went triple Ars attack on free hit, that is the 1-0. Every other game, they've scored 3, 3, 4, 1, 3.
Yeah. But I think that's, to me, is like, if they have bad fixtures and he's not cheap, and I have questions about the team, then those, like, how many reasons do I need to not buy someone? And that's like 2 more than usual. Like, usually I only need 1 of those.
I'm kind of
so there. I think it's still to me, it's Saka or no one.
It's also really, honestly. Fixtures that they just scored those goals in was Southampton with all of their back line and McCarthy on fucking overdose McCarthy on Ritalin or something.
Newcastle, like Xanax.
Yeah, he just railed like 2 Xanny bars right before the game. Newcastle home and West Brom. So,
Yeah, they don't get to play them next 4 either, so.
Yeah.
But I still think Saka's like he's so fucking good.
You think he's just start every week, even United, Wolves, Villa?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like torn up about that because I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my transfers.
I wouldn't like look at that spot and be like, I need to do something about this, or look at the rest of my team and be like, I need to adjust something. It wasn't even a transfer spot. I was just wondering if am I going to like rotate him? Like, is he first on my bench for those 3 and someone with better fixtures, and then I bring him in for Leeds, and then it's City, Leicester, Burnley, Spurs, West Ham, Liverpool. No, I mean, I think when it comes to the City one is like, okay, let me look at it, but I don't think home United's that bad. I mean,
it's not that
I don't know
bad.
what the fuck. I don't know what that game's going to be.
It's
but
not that
I know
bad, but I feel like they're going to handshake like 0-0. Like that's been almost every top game this season.
They could, but it could also be chaos. Like today's game was kind of chaotic. I mean, Man United, they still have like someone, Harold Maguire, center back. You know, they have bad individual players in the team as well with a bad manager. So they could score. Wolves. Yeah, they're negative, but it's still like, Wolves. Like I don't know, Villa. Like they're open leads. Like I think if he hasn't looked good in those 4, then you can reevaluate after Leeds. Fair. Is kind of what I would do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because City, Leicester, Burnley, Spurs is. I mean, even West Ham, Liverpool. That's really
an insane run.
Yeah, so that's probably just like get rid after Leeds. Yeah, maybe.
Well, luckily he's so cheap that I got him at like 5. I'm just going to bench him.
Yeah, you just bench him. Yeah, you bench him. That's great.
Yeah, so he's great.
And same with Smith Rowe. I mean, I'm like happy to have him be my bench shield.
With him, the Odegaard is the only like fear, and he kind of pulled up with a knock, but like he's still really good.
It's all nonsense though. Like, what is even?
I'm very excited for the Odegaard show.
Yeah. We also don't know that that's going to be like the like for like because Smith Rowe has transformed them. So it
Odegaard
could be
can
just
play
Odegaard's
deep.
Cover.
Also, Odegaard can play.
Yeah, he could be cover. He could play somewhere else, or
he could play
maybe
like
he's going to play with
Partey.
Xhaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if Partey's hurt, which he seems to always be hurt, whatever. Yeah,
Partey was really good against Southampton. When he's fit, he's fucking awesome. All right, let's go to questions. Only 3 questions.
You've been doing questions.
Well,
doing your questions.
This is how I do every pod for like 2 years. It's like I do all the grouped up questions because they're like things to talk about, and then just some scattered questions that are.
And then we go to questions.
Yeah, so we do questions and then we go to questions.
Okay.
Questions and then we go to our teams. We go to actual what it is we go to.
Okay, tell me.
The top topics.
Yep.
And then go to Discord questions, which are just individual questions, not related to one of the top things, which maybe we'll tangent on, maybe not. And then our team's caps, etc. Yeah. So
let's go to questions.
Huh? Yeah,
let's go to questions.
Yeah. I should just use that as like the transition sound. It's just let's go to questions. X Games James said, does Guno yet again prove that we should just buy yesterday's points? Which, all fucking season. We said it like 2 pods ago. If you just buy yesterday's points and just follow all the bandwagon and everything, you're fucking flying. That's just worked all season.
Well, it's not even that. It's you buy yesterday's points and then you get more points tomorrow.
Yes.
It's not even like he matches it. They just improve upon it.
Yes. Yeah. They enhance.
Yeah. Gundo looked really, really good. He would have hat-tricked if he played 40 more minutes. He was all over the fucking place. And
he only had 2 shots. I didn't watch the full game.
Everywhere. He could have had a hat trick in the 50. Like, he was so good. He was in the exact same position. Like, my concerns with Gundo going into the West Brom game were, okay, without Kevin, what's his role? Yeah. And the answer was emphatically even more attacking. Kevin. Honestly. Yeah, it's like, whatever. He does whatever the fuck he wants. And, I mean, he's just on song right now. Like, he's feeling himself. And he's scoring fucking beautiful curlers and shit. So if it makes more sense for you and your team structure to go there than a defender, then I'm never going to say no to that. He's 5'7" right now the way he's playing, but long term, the defender's definitely the better play. Because
I still totally agree with that. It's so much more reliable too.
Yeah, that's the thing is the reliability because, City, they're not going to get to play West Brom very often. And the defenders, it's just every fucking week is a clean sheet every week. Yeah. Every single week is clean sheet.
Yeah, and for him to match that, he has to score every week.
Every
game.
Just
not possible. It's just
he
not
has
possible.
to get a return every week. I mean,
he has to get a return every week. It's just not humanly possible.
Yeah, City's defense is just. I mean, it's like kind of unprecedented since I've been playing FPL anyway. Well, ever since they got Diash in and that thing has happened. I mean, they've got fucking 11 cleans and like.
To me, it's Liverpool 18-19.
Yeah, but they kept like 20?
21, I think.
Yeah,
something like that. It was a fucking joke.
It's
crazy.
Just
how many can I get in my team?
And Cancelo, dude, honestly, is like the last couple of games, the Villa game and the West Brom game, he's insanely good. He's really good.
I mean, I capped him in the double game week for a fucking reason. I wish I capped him in this week. Holy shit.
Yeah. He's
so good.
It's like he's like a Bruno of defender. Like he tries very aggressive forward passes like all the time,
which is all you want in FPL.
Yeah, and FPL is all you want. And he gets in the box. I mean, he almost had another goal too in this game.
It helps when the fucking woman raises the offside flag and the other team just stops playing.
You love to see that. You love to see that.
Yeah, Allison in 18-19 had 21 cleans, 22 goals conceded.
Yeah, that's where they're going.
That's where they're headed.
Yeah,
they're definitely going to be above 20 and just monster season. Yeah.
So you love that, you love the defense.
What about
but basically,
the sub?
If you don't
the subs were so weird. Laporte coming on and like three at the back. It's just
banter. It was complete banter.
Yeah.
I mean, the game was done, and I think it was just total rest rotation. Like, who do I want to rotate, and what do I want to? He just puts an extra center back. It doesn't. It just didn't matter. It just didn't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's really just the question of how many City players do you have, and what do you need to do to get 3? Because you have the 3 defender options plus Gundo, and you should have 3 of those 4. Every single team should have that,
and they are en route to walking the league.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like I know everyone, like most people who aren't Liverpool supporters seem to hate Liverpool, but. Oh my God, if Liverpool weren't around the last couple of years, like City would just win the league like 6 years in a row. Like it's a fucking piss take.
Honestly, I do feel like this is the Champions League year for City. Like I'm liking that.
Do you think the way the team is working is better?
I mean, we talked about
that
4 months ago.
It was like game 5 or something when we realized how they're playing.
I feel like this is going to be their year.
Yeah,
in the Champions League, I'm feeling that.
Yeah, I mean, they could easily do the double. They've been favored to do the double every fucking year. Pep has been there basically, and then this year they're just reborn defensively, and they can still do enough in attack. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
Wenger's beach pal Walsh. What are you doing with your United triple? Wondering what to do with Juan B. Just straight up at you.
Nightmare pick. He's very disastrous.
Water boy. He's water boy.
He's a joke. Like watching him play I feel like his teammates like make fun of him like all the time because he's so obviously technically worse than every player on the team.
He's kind
of every single player.
Limsy like Sacco, our love, Mamadou. Like the way his wide gait and the way he like swings his foot at everything and slide tackles at everything.
He's so not good enough.
He's the best right back in the world.
It's so insane that we got 40 for him. He's just not that good. He's not that good. We got 40 mil for this fucking guy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's so limited.
He's another huge problem with the team because he offers them they might as well. They don't have a right side. Like they have to go with the Luke Shaw.
Yeah,
and that's also a limitation. I mean, he's not going to be playing a game for a while. Hopefully, if he has 5% of the brain that I thought he had, Tellez will not be in that team in the league for months after this performance against Sheffield United. But
he hasn't played one. He hasn't had one good perforence.
He's bad.
He's just sucks.
He's a bad player.
The Portuguese league is a fucking shithouse league. They're like rated like 10th on UEFA or something for a fucking reason. And he's a 28-year-old fullback who never got bought by a good team because he fucking sucks. It's just like straight up. He should just go straight to Leeds. He has a fucking top bun. Like, get out of my face. Like, ridiculous.
He's really, really bad.
Unless Bruno dies and Tellez is on pens, there's no value in him at all.
Yeah, no, it's an issue.
So you're transferring 1B out this week or what?
Yeah, 1B absolutely gone. Hate him. Yeah, fucking hate him so much.
Right. Okay.
Rashford holding, covered that already.
Yep. Okay.
I mean, this is the same thing with Man United defense, right? We talked about it last year where they were more controlling. This year they're not controlling. They're just fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think because they had the double or whatever, they had Fulham, and I was like, oh, LOL, Fulham. But I'm surprised when they keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, I think it's also just
all sorts.
It's remnants of last season also. Like that.
Yeah.
that's a bias that everyone makes. Is like, this is what the team was, and now they're completely different. But it's hard to mentally adjust sometimes. And I mean, like Sheffield got behind them over and over and over again, and a few were offsides, but a few were just like huge chances.
I mean, they have 6 cleans. What are we through 20? Yeah. So they probably finish around 11. It's not terrible. I mean, they're still not that expensive, you know. I think Shaw, I think, is still like maybe an okay pick because he actually has been.
He's been good.
He's been good.
Yeah, and when he's allowed to get forward, he does stuff.
Yeah, maybe that, but they are cheap. So I mean, if you look at, Shaw is like 4.8. When you look at him stacked against like the West Ham, they're still better. There's still better picks out there though for that. I don't know.
I mean, I prefer like Villa and shit. I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough.
And then Danny Naylor, last question. He said, how many blanks in a row before you throw in the towel on a player, regardless of how close they were or the name on the back of their shirt? 3, 6, 10? I don't know. I assume he's talking about Mo, but I don't know.
I could be talking about anyone. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, why do you want the answer to this question? Is my question. Like, why do you want a rule?
I think he wants to get rid of someone, and he can't pull the fucking trigger. That's what I assume. That's what I assume.
Because the context is everything with this kind of thing.
You can't.
You can't rule of thumb generalize this.
It matters way too much.
I look at the
who you're getting, who they're playing, who the player is, how the team's playing, the fixture, There's just way too much action for that question. So that's the end of the questions. Would you like to move us on to our teams and transfers?
Should we go to the questions?
That was good. You got me. So did you make both your transfers already, or are you making more than 2 transfers?
I'm making 4 transfers. I only did Watkins for...
I'm making 4 transfers. Nice.
I only did Watkins for Werner because he was rising and everything was at a knife edge. And I was shitting myself today about Bamford dropping because I needed him to not drop. But
did he drop?
I'm finally... No, he did not drop. He was at negative 98.1 or something. Huge. And I didn't do it because I wanted to get the COVID information tomorrow, whatever that might come. But
the only COVID information that we would ever get is like some guys are down with COVID. We never get the names.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's a team that I don't have players on.
Fair.
But I'm just finally going in on my Robbo Trent. I'm just done. Okay. I'm done and tired about talking about it. It doesn't make any sense for me to do it now with the hits and the things. I understand that. But I'm done thinking about it and talking about it, and it's making me so upset and unhappy. So I'm just going to buy them and get them in, and then I don't have to do it anymore.
I love the fact that you go for your shit. Like
it takes me a long time.
We get a reputation though of like shouting stuff and then not getting the guys, but I think that's me. I think you shout stuff and go very aggressively for the things, but sometimes they're wrong. That's your issue. Sometimes they're Werner, you know.
I don't want to analyze this right
sometimes
now.
They're Jesus, sometimes they're Werner, but sometimes they're Triple City, you know, and it's good.
No,
and you just -8 them in and just go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I do that sometimes, but I think my issue is that it takes me too long probably to do that. Because I was talking about this like 3 or so game weeks ago, and if I did this a long time ago, then I'd be in the good here. And I've been spiraling out of control with my transferring in. I've been getting negative points with my transfers for months. And like these are the things.
Robbo's not been great.
Yeah, Robbo hasn't been coming in too good recently, but
he didn't even play today. I'm not sure if he played today.
Yeah. So, but that's my thing, dude. And the other thing too, dude, I was like,
so your back 5. Your back 5 is going to be Trent, Robbo, Cancelo, Diaz, Stoney Boy.
Yeah, because when my team every week I'm like, I'm going to get goals and points and shit, and no one scores goals. All the players look bad. All the teams look bad. All the fucking games suck.
We've been saying since like game week three that the football's bad and teams aren't scoring,
so
and the premiums aren't coming in, and yeah.
So I want to go back in there. I don't want to. I'm fucking tired of punt. I've been punting my life away the last month or two, and it's a nightmare. And I just want to go back to. I want to go Liverpool, a good team. Trent, Robbo, good players. They're gonna keep cleans. Get them in. I don't want to fucking check out Everton's fixtures. I don't want to look at who fucking Villa are playing in the next 2 weeks, or who are West Ham playing the next 2 weeks.
Calm down. Holy shit.
I'm worked up, baby. We're potting, baby. We're potting, baby. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a huge -8, big Dirk -8, and probably get a red arrow, and I'm going to get them in and go 5-4-1.
It's going to be great, dude. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I had my transfers roughly thought out, and then Kane got hurt today.
Because Kane was, yeah.
So
Pulisic has to go.
Yeah, Pulisic's going, and Vardy's going. So I have basically unlimited money. The problem is there's no premium forwards that are good.
So get Mane.
Yeah, I was honestly thinking, after we just talked
about it. Can you do that?
I can do that. I can't do Mane DCL, which is like what I wanted to do. But I can do Antonio. Antonio, who always scores against Liverpool, by the way.
He won't this week, but you could bench him. Start Mitchell.
The thing is, like, Bamford, like...
What's the thing?
I don't feel good about Bamford either.
He's not good either. Well, you could also just run him out for Leicester and turn him into Antonio and get someone who has a better fixture this week than Antonio.
Or I could hit him out and get DCL and some non-playing guy and just be 4-5-1.
You can do that.
Interesting.
Sounds good. Get on Lundaloo. Derek has on Lundaloo, so that's probably
Derek
the
pick. The double up of Brewster and Lundaloo is so good. And also,
can I just say one thing?
Yes, please say a lot of things. Yeah.
I was monitoring the under 4-5 million forward spot very closely for months.
Okay.
Vassilev, that fucking guy on Villa, who they loaned out to like Bristol Town or whatever.
Yeah.
He was 4-3, and they removed him from the game recently. And he's just not in the game.
They're not allowed to do that.
They did it. They fucking made it up again as they go along. He's not in the game anymore.
They break their own fucking rules
all the time. It's insane. How do they do this? They just determine, like, oh, this guy... Dude, he's not in the game anymore. They just remove him from the game. He's a fucking player. People lost Price. But do they get the 0.2 back because they remove him from the game? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm, like, looking around because I think they removed a lot of players. Like, wasn't Eric... I think Eriksen was still in the game on Spurs. And that happens every year. There's always the red flag guy that's, like, transferred away. They just clean house.
But why do they... It's one thing if it's just some, like, anonymous... But he's like, there's no other 4-3 guys except for Keenan, my boy, who I already have. It's like, if it's a fundamental, like, thing like that, it's like a price break point. Like, just leave fucking Vassilev, sniper from Enemy at the Gates, in the team, in the fucking game. You just leave him there.
That's good.
You just leave him.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that's so rude. That's so fucking rude.
And, like, I'm looking at here, right? I'm sitting here, honestly, I'm like Connor Wickham. He's my guy. He hasn't played a minute all season. It's his muscle injury. I'm like, has he been loaned? Are they going to remove him tomorrow? Like, I'm worried about that.
Yeah, you're worried about him.
There's no other 4-4 guy. And it's like, are they going to just make some new rule up? We're like, oh, if you have a muscle injury and your name's Connor Wickham, you haven't played all year, then we're going to take you out of the game.
Imagine being Vassilev's family and just owning him because you're so proud that your son finally made it to the big leagues.
And then you get absolutely ripped out of the game.
Yeah, then you open your thing and they change your team name to change name and remove Vassilev. You go fuck yourself, Vassilev family. Spit on your name.
Kit, and it just says change name, and then it's like 696969 or something. Oh my
change
God.
Player. It just says change player, and your team is voided that week, and you get 0 points. It's like, what? I had a player. My son. You killed my son. Yeah, I mean, there's blood on their hands for sure. They'll pay for what they've done.
They never will.
But yeah, I'll sort my moves tomorrow, but it'll be something around what we talked about. And, Gundo and Stones are also in the mix. So, I got to think about that. Yeah, I mean,
if that price-wise makes more sense for you to do to get the Everton punts that you want to do, then yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could also just
it might turn into minus
you could do Rich and DCL or whatever and go double whole hog there.
Yeah, it might turn into
triple.
minus 8.
Dude, you could also just triple there. You could get James, DCL, and easily Pulisic, Vardy, and Bamford.
Whole hog, baby.
You could do that, right? You could afford that.
Dude, I can do whatever I want.
It's
awesome. It's fantasy. It's not real life. Dude, it's fucking awesome. You should try it. It's called fantasy. You do whatever you want. It's so fun. Just ask the Vasilevs. Oh, brother. All right, let me slap asses. We got a bunch of new signups. Yo, we have the Cup starting game week 24. FMLFL
we didn't talk about
Patreon
that
Cup.
People are still
starting
listening. No
game
one's
week
listening anymore.
20. Yeah, well, fuck them. I mean, it's starting game week 24. You have 2 weeks basically to sign up before game week 24 when the Cup starts. There's going to be group stages. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be a knockout round. It's very fun. Get in there. Do it up. New signups this week. We got Andy Foss Grant, Matthew Schmeling, Stephen Lindemann, Jacob Jameson, Luke Price, James Cook, Ritzy D, and Pav. Get in there with the asses and the slaps. Any last words?
That's a good job, man. Go to questions.
Check us out at FMLField.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLField. Support at Patreon.com/FMLField. Subscribe, rate, and